Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking. So in today's video, we are going to talk about studying and living in Canada. And I have a guest with me, who is also like my brother. Yes, my brother. I'm so happy to have him here. It's been a long time since I saw him, but yeah, I'm so glad he's here. So would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thank you for having me. Hello to all of your viewers and subscribers. My name is Tofik Adams. I am a Ghanaian, and I came to Canada, oh, what, 2014, a long time ago, to study, and I'm currently based here now, trying to make the best of what I have. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay, I think we'll just go straight into today's topic. So I'm just going to go straight
Yes.
ahead. You came here to
Okay.
study bachelor's, right, in Canada, a bachelor program.
Yes, my bachelor's,
So
yes.
which program was that?
I I did a double major in political science and economics.
Okay.
It's quite rare, apparently, in Canada because usually for most universities you can only study one or the other. But my school has this thing where you have to do both. So I did that, and I also got a post-baccalaureate certificate in international development.
Oh, okay. Probably you have to speak a bit louder.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's
Yeah.
my. I don't. Is that
I
other way
think I
around?
can hear
Sorry.
you though. Yeah. I can hear
Let's
you.
change that. Is it better now?
Yeah, yeah.
It's better now. Okay, that's good. I'll
Yes.
hold it like this then.
Okay, so which university did you enroll in?
I went to the King's University in Edmonton, Alberta. Yes, that's where I had all of my programs.
All right, so in today's video, I actually want to talk about, for my video, I mostly talk about masters, but it would be nice to also talk about bachelor and then masters. I hope you have like a fair idea on the masters program. I know you're on your way to study masters too, right?
Yes, yes, I'm on my way
Yes,
to do
I
my
know about
master's.
that.
So,
That's nice. So fine. Studying in Canada, I know studying in Canada is very expensive. So let's look at the tuition fee. Okay, then we look at scholarships. So if we take bachelor programs, can you give us an estimate? No, I know with the tuition fee, it actually depends on the school. But can you give us an estimate of how much you'll be expecting to pay within a year in the bachelor program?
yes. Okay, so for an international student,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of varies, like you said, by the school a little bit, but on average, you should expect to pay anywhere from, mid-teen to like $15,000 Canadian dollars a year, up about 26,000 Canadian dollars a year. Like that is the
Wow.
range. Yeah, exactly. So it's quite spread out. So there's schools that are catered to like different pockets, let's
Yeah.
so to speak. So there are those. Actually, you can even get lower. There's a school in Newfoundland called Memorial. Apparently, they charge $11,000 a year. So for
Okay.
tuition, it's quite spread out. You can get like anywhere from 12, 15,000 to 26,000 Canadian dollars a year or even more.
Oh, okay. What about masters?
Masters, on the other hand, is actually very cheap.
Really?
I discovered during my research. Yes. So for
Okay.
masters, and this is an assumption without scholarship. Let's say you don't
Mm-hmm.
have
Yeah,
scholarship.
without scholarship.
You can, yes, you can get anywhere from, again, 10,000 to 20,000 Canadian dollars. And I know 6,000 from the max for undergrad doesn't sound like much, but 6,000 is actually quite a lot. And it will definitely take off your living expenses for more than half of the year.
Mm.
That's if you don't take trips and have fun every Saturday. But normally speaking, like $26,000 can do so much. So like for masters, and if you have scholarship, we're talking anywhere from like even up to like what 5,000 a year. So
Okay.
study
If you
hard,
have
get
a
good grades,
scholarship,
and you do well.
if you have a scholarship that doesn't cover all your tuition, right?
Yes, yes. If you have a scholarship, then you pay some, and they also pay some. Usually, depending on the program and the university, they can cover anywhere up to 80% of your tuition, and you only pay 20. But sometimes it's a 50-50.
What if you have 100% scholarship? How much are you going to be getting monthly? It's your stipends.
Um, Honestly, from my experience, I haven't met anyone that has 100% scholarship for their masters,
Okay.
because somehow Canadians are stingy with their money. Because
Hmm.
I've only met PhD students that they get like 1,000, 1,200 for their stipend and stuff.
Okay.
For master students, I personally do not know anyone that has a 100% full scholarship. um, from the university, I must say. Maybe if you have like a private
Hmm.
sponsorship, then that's a different story. But from the university, I don't know. Usually, what they will do is if you decide not to pay anything, you might get a research assistant, for instance, job, and that's although not a lot of money, like $500-600 a month or something.
Oh, okay. Then you have to
Yes.
hustle your way through.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Like usually I know a lot of master students who are doing that, they're doing their research assistants and then they also work part-time off campus to kind of like make up for the
Yeah,
difference.
that will also come to
Yes.
that as well.
Okay,
To the
that's good.
working, yeah. So yeah, the next one I have is I know you had like partly your bachelor program in Ghana. You started sort of, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, the line is breaking. I think I can hear you
yeah.
now.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm
It's okay.
back. So I got a call. I'm using my phone,
Oh, I
so
see.
yeah. So I know you kind of had your bachelor program in Ghana, not fully. You started I think just a semester or 2 semesters.
Just one semester.
Just 1 semester. So moving from Ghana to Canada, how different it was the education system to you? Because at least you've had an experience studying in Ghana and now Canada. How different is it?
Oh my goodness. It was very different. In terms of like the course load and what professors expect from you. Um, because from my experience, studying for one semester at KNUST, it was very, for lack of a better term, chew and pour, right?
Yeah.
You memorize stuff and then you go and pour it down during the exams, and then that's it. But for here in Canada, like there's a bit more nuance. Obviously, for economics, for instance, is mathy. So if you know the formula applies no matter where you are.
Yeah.
That one, that's like, but then like they don't only
Okay,
show
you
you
were
the
doing
formula, but
economics
they
in Ghana. Sorry to
Yes, I was in economics in
interrupt.
Ghana.
Okay, and then
Yes,
now you
although it was
shifted
very
to
basic at the level
okay.
first semester. Yes, yeah, and I did the same thing, economics and political science in
Okay.
Canada. Um, and yeah, like they explain the formula to you. They don't just show you, okay, x plus y is equals z, and that's the end. They will make you
Yeah.
see why, so that because at the exams, that anyway, my professors were tricky. My friends in other schools didn't complain, but like my professor, for instance, she will make you understand the concept so that when the exam comes and she tells you this is z, find y and y x and explain why,
Yeah.
so it's not a matter of you don't have to know the formula, because if you just know the
Yeah.
formula, that's just one aspect, because they will ask you to explain and defend. And it was the same thing for political science. There was nuance, because of course there are keywords that if you're
Hmm.
defining something you need to show by, but show your original thinking. What do you understand by using
Exactly.
these keywords to define the concept? So yeah, like over here, I mean, it was very easy in the sense that you learn at your own pace what suits you best, but also it was very obviously it challenges you, because we were used to defining photosynthesis in one way and that's the end of the story. And now they will challenge
Yeah,
you
yeah,
to
yeah.
defend and answer. So it was very different in that regard.
Yeah.
And also in terms of like course load, I have this funny story. When I first got there, they were like, "Oh, the maximum courses you can take is five." I was like, "5? Are you kidding me? Like in Ghana, we're taking 12 and 10. What is 5 courses?" But it was not easy. I actually had to drop one and do four, because it was crazy. Like there will be labs, they'll give you homework.
Yeah.
It's not like midterm exam and that's the end. For political science, for instance, every course you have to write like a 15-page essay, and they're taking
Hmm.
4 courses. Like it was insane the amount of workload. When I saw the course numbers, I was like, it's slow, but they let you do a lot. So yeah, like all of those things, factored in.
Yeah,
It was
a
very
lot of
different.
people I used to even think that studying abroad was much easier till I came here. Like it's just fucking me. Sorry. It's just beating me anyhow. I'm struggling to finish my masters. Like it's been difficult.
Yes.
Okay. So moving on. Um so let's talk about part-time jobs. Are students allowed to work in Canada?
Yes, students are allowed to work in Canada. During the school year, which is September to April, you can work part time, which is 20 hours a week. And then in the
Okay.
summer, when school is over, you can work full time, which is 40 hours a week or more if you want, because legally
Oh.
that's allowed. Yeah, so students are allowed to work part time. And hmm, just saying, actually a little caveat to it. You
Mm-hmm.
can work on campus or off campus. So the 20 hours actually counts towards off campus employment. So technically speaking, you can work 40 hours if you find a job on campus and off campus. But of course, with the workload and everything else, you want to be careful and not extend yourself because it can get very
Yeah.
busy and stressful.
Okay, that's true. Okay, so with let's say I come to Canada first year, my parents gave me my first year money, the tuition, my living expenses and everything. Now second year I have to take care of myself. Would part time job kind of help me facilitate like to take
Not
care of all my
really.
expenses, my tuition, because a lot of people have that mentality back when I get to Canada, I'm going to find a job and I can pay my fees. Tell us.
Yes. I mean, it's not impossible to do,
Mm-hmm.
but then also because you're combining your academics, like I said, for instance, you can work full time if you want to, right? And go to school. But then you have to juggle a lot of responsibilities. So usually what a lot of international students do is that they make sure they have two jobs in the summer, make as much money as they can. So that when fall or September comes and you have to go back to school, then of course you still need to work to sustain yourself, but then like it will be essentially top up amounts because once you
Yeah.
save, let's say you are paying 15,000 a year, that's around like what 7.5 thousand a semester. And so then you can work your ass off to make like $4,000, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, in the summer, or even five, right? It depends on the job and what they pay and your hours and stuff. But let's just say you make 1,000 a month, which is 4,000. When summer comes, the remaining 3,000, 3,500, you can work part time and then be topping up. And I know a lot of universities here are also very considerate of international students because they know it's a lot of money. So most
Yeah.
schools will let you pay in installments. So every month, so the 7,000, they'll break it down, divide it by four. So then every month you can make a payment towards it.
Okay.
And if you miss it, usually for my university, for instance, they take that on the first of the month. Let's say something happens, you explain to them, write a letter, they sign, then they'll take it in the middle of the month instead. So by then, hopefully, you'd have covered that expense. So it's not impossible to do, but it's obviously very challenging.
Yeah. Okay. Can find your way out.
Oh, yes, totally.
Okay. Okay. So like how easy or how difficult is it to find a part-time jobs? Because most of us back at home, we think when you come abroad, in the first month I'm going to get a job, and then you come and reality hits you.
Yes, yes. Lucky. Hmm. My experience again of Canada, because it's big, so I can't really speak
Yeah.
for the whole country. But Alberta, for instance, there's jobs here, a lot of jobs. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and mostly students do stuff like there's this assumption that certain jobs are for students. So let's say if you work as a waiter, you work as a cashier at the grocery store, if you're a janitor, security guard, and stuff like that, those kinds of jobs are very easy to find. So when it comes to part-time job, that's not a problem. And these kinds of jobs also usually because they know you're a student, they are sensitive to your schedule. So if you say you cannot come to work because you have an assignment or midterm, most of the time they understand you. Also, of course, you have to be proactive. You don't tell them the hour before you have to so that they have an exam.
Yeah.
So like those kinds of part-time jobs, they are very easy to come across. I mean, of course you won't find a job the month you arrive, but like in a few 3 4 months you should have landed something.
Oh, okay. Then that's great.
Yes, yes, there's a
All
lot of
right
part-time
then.
jobs around
So
here.
okay. Let's look at the living expenses in Canada. Is it, on an average, is it cheap or expensive to live? Looking at your accommodation, your food, general expenses.
General expenses, yes. So as an international student, what I always say is if you can avoid Toronto, Vancouver, because those places will chop your money easy. There's no
Avoid
way
what?
around that. Toronto and Vancouver, because those
Okay, the
places
big
they are
cities, yeah.
very expensive. Yes, because let's say for me, I lived in Edmonton, right? I lived in a very big two-bedroom apartment with one other person. It was a two-bedroom, so my roommate, and we paid for rent under $500 a month.
Oh, wow.
So like yes, that was very affordable. For the bus pass, the rates have been going up since. But I remember when I first started university, it was like $80 a month for the bus and the train. It covers everything.
Okay.
And then food is very, very affordable here. Like that one,
Mm.
unless you want to eat African food, then yes, you have to
Yeah.
spend cash. But like, rice, milk, bread, eggs, those kinds of stuff is very affordable. Rent is affordable if you some people want to live alone. And even here in Edmonton, if you want to live alone, sometimes your rent is only 1,000, 2,005, which is not too bad. But usually
Yeah.
as a student, you expect to share your room and stuff like that. So it makes it also very affordable. So like cost of living, again, this is my experience from Edmonton and my friends in Calgary and Saskatoon, Winnipeg is very similar. But then if you start going to Toronto and Vancouver, then that two-bedroom, there'll be five people or seven people living there, and they will each be paying 500 a month just to cover the
Wow.
rent for
Crazy.
the yes. Yes.
Hmm.
So those two cities, I always say if you can't avoid it, but if your school is there, because
Yeah.
there's no choice than for you to, just suck it up and do it. But cost of living otherwise, even for those cities, Vancouver, Toronto, food is obviously very cheap as well. Transport is even better there because it's a bigger
Mm-hmm.
city, so they have more solid systems. The passes are a little bit expensive. So instead of like paying $80 in Edmonton, you're going to be paying like 120. Give and
For
take, it's not too
transportation,
bad for transportation a month. That's if you
a
don't
month.
drive. If you drive now, then that's a different story.
All right then. So
Yes.
let's go back to university applications. With Canada, is there like a specific website you have to go to and then search for schools? How is it like?
Yes, so if you're looking for applying to university, usually that is run by the province the school is in, for instance. So in Alberta, we have Apply Alberta, which is a portal for all the universities in Alberta. So you create a profile, you upload your transcript and everything. And then after you do that, you select the universities in Alberta you want to apply to. And then, once you submit your application, they will now see your profile on the platform. And then if they need anything else from you, they'll email you, you're sent to them, they make a decision, and that's it. And I think it's the same for Ontario as well because I'm going to Ontario for my program, and I also had to create a profile on the a similar Apply Alberta website, select the universities, upload my documents, and then it was easy that way. I don't know about other provinces, but sometimes it's easy to I find from my experience from the application now, you contact the school yourself because then if you have any questions before because some of the questions you cannot answer later, like if you don't have an answer in
Yeah.
newspaper, that's the end, you have to start the whole process again. So it's better to get in touch with the school, and then they will give you the steps, and sometimes they even provide the direct link to the school's website on that platform, so you don't have to create a profile for everybody else. Although I find it better, just in case they need something, they can always refer to it on that platform. So like
Oh, okay.
it's easy otherwise, yes.
So I was thinking probably there'll be like a general website where you find all the schools in Canada. They're like, for instance, in Germany, we have this website www.daad.de. So when you go there, all the schools in Germany, you find them there with the courses and everything.
I don't, well, for government related stuff, let's just say
Okay.
that you can go to the immigration website, and then there is a list. So again, it's broken up by province because there's a lot of schools.
Okay. Okay.
So you go to this province you select, you click on the menu, and then it shows you all the
Okay.
schools in that menu. But that's for application immigration purposes. So sometimes if you want to cross check actually if your school is approved and accredited to operate. And
Hmm.
also because in Canada what they have is a post graduation work permit, which is the work permit you apply after you graduate to be able to stay in Canada and work and then get your permanent residency. So that immigration website list shows you the schools that are eligible for that
Okay.
work permit because it's not every school that
Every
is
school.
eligible for it. So if you want to cross check, that's also a very good resource for you.
Okay, I think guys, that's very good. You have to look at that before, because most people when they are traveling to study, they have plans of staying in their country. So as you said, in
Mhm.
Canada, it's not every school that gives you your post your working visa, what's the
Graduate
permanent
permit.
residency, right? Yeah, it's
Yes,
not every
yes.
school that gives you that. So you have to be very careful when you're applying to the school. Okay, then nice. So what are the basic requirements for a bachelor program and then a master program?
So for a bachelor program, depending on the, for instance, I guess my experience was political science. So they will need English, they'll need math, they'll need social studies, they'll need history. And generally speaking, if you don't flunk below a C, you shouldn't have any issues. And then
Okay.
depending on the country you're applying from, they will ask you for, what's it called now? English test.
The GRE and TOEFL or
Yeah, TOEFL, IELTS,
IELTS?
all these
Yeah.
things. Yes. Um, some countries are exempted, so like Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, they don't have to provide that. And the other requirement will be sometimes will be like what's it called now? You have to translate your what's it called now?
Your
Your credential,
results,
so they can
your
see the
transcripts.
equivalent. Yes, they can see the
Okay.
equivalent in Canada, and then if you have to upgrade or not, they'll let you know. And then yeah, that's it for
Mm,
bachelor's. It's fairly straightforward. For masters now, most programs, if you're applying from outside Canada, will definitely ask you for GRE or TOEFL, especially those MBA programs.
yeah.
Some of them, some universities will ask you for GRE, and on top of that, IELTS. So GRE
Wow.
is for your aptitude to study, yes, and IELTS for your English speaking skills.
Yeah.
It's not many
Stressful.
schools that do that, but like
Okay.
yes, masters is very stressful for you to apply.
Hmm.
Sometimes some programs will be like, okay, you need some work experience, so you have to show them that. You have to translate your again your qualification and your transcript so that they can also assess. And yeah, I think obviously that's it. Not nothing much. Although masters from outside, if you're applying for masters from outside Canada, their requirements were a little bit strict, and because we use the GPA system here, apparently it's not very common elsewhere. So
Hmm.
things can be a little tricky in terms of like translating stuff. But obviously, if you get all A's, no matter where you are good. But so yeah, that's one thing. You have to look into the system, the grading system of the school, and their websites. Try to calculate yourself. Generally
Yeah.
speaking, for Canada, most programs GPA minimum 3.3. That's the minimum. So obviously, you have to do a lot better than that for you to actually be accepted. So like
Hmm.
3.5, 3.7, 4.0, then you're good. But most master's programs will be like minimum requirement 3.3. Some will say 3.0, but just aim for 3.3 because obviously that's the very minimum. That's the bottom of the barrel. If they don't get anyone to fill the program, they select you.
Yeah.
So try to do better than that. And yeah, you're set.
All right. So now we are done with the school and stuff. Let's look at life after school because I know you are done with your bachelor's. How many years now?
Oh, yes. So like 2018, 19, 20. Yeah, 3 years now almost.
3 years
Yes.
now, and you're in the job market. You've been in the job
Yes.
market. So how was
Yes,
it
I'm in
like
the job
finding
market.
job after school? Was it very hard? Was it challenging?
Not really. I mean, like I was lucky because COVID came, and
Hmm.
then the find a job now is very difficult. But like generally speaking, it was fairly easy because one thing actually that most Canadian employers will look for, it's not necessarily your qualification, but Canadian work experience.
Okay.
Like that's why some international students they will come to Canada, they don't want to work, and the whole point of that, I mean, it sucks working, but like if you don't have any Canadian work experience to show a Canadian employer, they will have a huge task trying to defend your hiring because like
Mm-mm.
they need to you need to show them that you actually have some work ethic, and usually they'll be like, oh, you went to school, you worked, you have good time management skills, for instance, right? And you know how the Canadian workplace is like, the etiquette and everything like that. So that usually is what they look at. But finding a job, it wasn't very hard. I mean, the benefit for me was that I was able to network over the years.
Okay.
And so then, when the time came, people were like, oh, hey, you're done. Like, do you want to work for us? And I was like, oh, wow, this is quite nice.
So
So
networking
yeah,
is
like,
important.
oh yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Because networking is very yes. Like all these government jobs, it's just Mostly anyways, it's just people that they know that they hire. So like if you want to work for the government, for instance, like that's a good way. But also just engaging yourself in extracurricular activities, because even though I had people ask me to come work, what I ended up doing was like taking up a gig with a think tank, because I did a lot of like policy debate and research and stuff. And like the last one I did in 2018, one was like, "Hey, you're soon done. Do you want to work for us?" I was like, "Okay, yeah," and I took that up, and that's how it happened. But finding a job is not very difficult. Also, actually, if you want to be smart about it, you can go to a province, because the whole idea with the work permit is that you're going to get permanent residency afterwards, right? And so let's say if you go to Saskatchewan, Manitoba, those people, if you work there for 6 months, you can apply for permanent residency. Meanwhile, if you go
Okay.
to like Alberta, Quebec, I mean, sorry, not Quebec. Quebec is its own thing. Ontario, BC, that one they'll let you work for 1 year. So it all depends. Like, if you have the longer term of settling in Canada, those are some of the decisions you also have to factor in. Alberta, for instance, is very blue collar, so like people that do engineering and very hands-on stuff, those ones find it very easy to get a job. Whereas those
Okay.
of us with philosophy, political science, sometimes you have to struggle a little, but in the end,
Hmm.
it all worked
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess if you want to immigrate to any country, Canada is one of the best places to go because they are really good on immigration compared to other countries that they want to sack you. You know.
Oh
Yeah. That I
yes. I
like that. I
mean,
like that about Canada. Their
yes. Usually, the
immigration
whole
system.
philosophy of immigration in Canada is skewed in the favor of students, because you are young, you came to work, you have experience, you can speak English, you have the education, everything checks out. Because obviously, the more factors there are to factor in, then they'll be like. But if you
Yeah.
come as a student, it's like a golden ticket, unless you mess things up along the way.
Okay. So let's look at we said a lot of good things. Lots of nice things. Canada. Yeah. Let's look at your biggest challenge ever living in Canada as a student or as now as a worker. Your biggest challenge ever.
Um, I think the very first one was just adjusting to the weather, because the winter
Yeah.
here will beat the shit out of you. Pardon my Greek. Minus 20, minus 30. Like, it's not easy. You have to go to work, you have to go to
Crazy.
class. Yes, you have to wait for the bus at the bus stop in that weather. Like, it's crazy. So that was one of the challenges at first. But I think the biggest for me was cultural adjustment, because like, the way people organize themselves in society varies from country to country. And like there are little things that you will not really read about until you come into the country. So like that was one of the biggest challenges, when to say goodbye, when to do this, even when you're texting, like the etiquette, like it was very, no
Yeah.
website told me that, but also there's just something like, and the subtle racism, because there is that, people will tell you, oh my God, you speak English so well, like, wow. Or, like all these, oh, how was the war in your country? And I'm like, there is no war in Ghana. Like, those little microaggressions, or I guess, yeah, microaggressions that they call them, like, it's alive and well. I mean, at the end of the day, nowhere is perfect. So like, there are also those
Yeah.
little challenges that you have to overcome. Your accent, because sometimes I had to adopt a Canadian accent, not as much as I didn't want to, because like it was just easy for people to understand me and communicate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
You
like
have to
those are all
change
little
it.
challenges. Yes, 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 yes. Because you tell somebody something, they do something else. You're like, why are you doing this? They'll be like, that's what you said. I'm like, I didn't say that, and it's just a fight. But we move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. We move. So I have this question. You talked about subtle racism, and I have this question. Did you ever face any sort of racism?
Um, yes, I have. you know, um, I mean, not very many. And it was kind of
Hmm.
in the early years when I was still kind of trying to adjust. But like there was an instance at work where, I was at catch time, so I called this guy in line to come to me. And he's like, it doesn't go to black people. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Suit
And then,
yourself.
he was, yes, like he was holding up the line, because I was able to take somebody, and I called the guy behind him. And then my boss was like, and also my boss is kind of like, very solid. It's like, go back. He's going to come here. He's like, "What's your problem?" It's all the same culture. It's like he doesn't like black people. So it's not very. That's honestly that's like the only outright racism that I can say that yes, this person treated me this way because he said I was black. But like
Yeah.
the rest, you kind of wonder what is it, and you move on. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I've encountered something like that before.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Canadians. For me, I've been living in Germany. I'm in my second year now, and I would say that Germans are not the easy people to be friends with. Like I think they are not so open. Are Canadians like warm and welcoming?
Oh my God, yes, very, very welcoming.
Hmm.
Like, they are just, I mean, you have to take it with a grain of salt, right? Because generally speaking, they have a culture of niceness. So they're not very direct, and sometimes they hide what they are saying in nice words.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, like, and when I first moved here again, somebody saw me was like, "Oh, you look confused. Where are you going to? Where are you from?" Like, she's like, "Take this bus, get here, do this." And then someone is like, "Oh, your phone is dead. Okay, I can give you a phone to call." Actually, I've
Yeah.
made friends just by being a cashier. They'll be like, "Oh, so what? There's a holiday here called Thanksgiving." So they were like, "Ah, what are you doing this thing?" I'm like, "Me, I don't know. I didn't even know there was a Thanksgiving anything." Like, I just be studying. It's like, "Oh, come for dinner. Let's go to
Yeah.
the park. There's a picnic." Yes, like they'll invite you. They are very
Yeah.
nice. They are very friendly, and it's yeah, honestly, it makes up for some of the racism and stuff. Like
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Canadians
some
are
of them
very
are nice.
welcoming.
Yeah. Even though in
Yes, most of
Germany
them
they
are
are
very
a bit
nice.
cold. I've really met even Germany that they are a bit cold. I've actually met really really nice people. Yeah. So it's
Yes,
mixed. It's mixed. It's mixed. But I
yes,
think
it's mixed. Like,
Canadians are more friendly. I think. So I
yes, they
have
are
a
known
last
around the
question for
world.
you. Yeah, I
Okay.
have this last question for you. What do you love about Canada?
Huh. That's a tough question.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I think for me, one thing I didn't even know I like the outdoors since I came to Canada. Ah, my God, the mountains, the hikes, the lakes, the rivers,
Okay,
they're all
okay. I've
there.
seen a couple of your. I mean, you
Yes,
have a
yes, on my
blog. You can talk about
Instagram,
that. Okay.
essentially, yes. Like, I love that. So, and actually, to be honest, now that I'm moving to Ontario, they don't have the mountains we have here. So I'm like, I'm so sad leaving this place. But also, you
Yeah.
will find the charm over there, like Niagara Falls. I'm looking forward to going there. So like when it comes to nature and the outdoors in
Okay.
Canada, it
Okay.
is fantastic. I love it
Yeah.
so much. Yes, that's my number one thing.
All right. So let's talk about your blog. You have a blog, right? If you have the link, I can leave it in my description. Are you still blogging?
No, I haven't had time for it actually, but you might
Okay.
inspire me to go back to it because
Yeah, you
I
should, because
essentially
it's
I
quite
used to write.
interesting.
Yes, yes. And I used to write a lot. And then I started
Mm-hmm.
taking, all of a sudden I got into Instagram and of course, like it's a lot easier to say with pictures than with words. So that made
Yeah.
me lazy.
Okay.
But I am looking forward to going back. Maybe I'll send you the link later and then
Okay.
people can read what I've written in the past and then they can,
Yeah. Yeah.
catch up on the later ones.
So guys, I'm going to leave his. I'll leave. Should I leave your Instagram handle in my description box?
Yes, for
And
sure, for
then
sure. Yes, yes,
okay,
yes.
and then
I'll
the
make it
link to
public
your
so people
blog.
can follow.
Yeah, and then the link to his
Yes.
blog. So I mean, just check him out. Go to his blog. I know most Africans we don't like reading, but there are a few people that like reading. Yeah. So go to his blog, check his work, and support him. That's my brother. That's my blood. So you guys have to. If you love me, I know you do this for me. So yeah, that was a great conversation. I really enjoyed this, and I want to say that you've really influenced me to like I now want to move to Canada already.
Please come and join us.
Yes, I would love to. Okay, I'm back, right?
Yes, you're back now.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the conversation. I really enjoyed this session, and I hope you did also.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
I'm very glad. Thank you.
Okay. So guys, if you have any questions, just leave it as usual. Just leave it in the comment section below, and I'll be glad to answer you. And I'm sure he would also help me answer some questions because I don't know so much about Canada. So probably I'm sure he would help me answer your questions. So thank you so much. See you in my next video. Choose.
Thank you so much.